Look at the quality. Sony, thank you. Shouldn't me be this down. Alright. Gosh. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, I'm so happy that you're here. I'm happy that you came back. I'm in Kenya. In this video, I'm going to be doing something a little different, adding something extra, so stay with me. I'm going to be sharing the entry requirements for Nigerians who want to visit Kenya as at today. So if you'd like to know what you need and how much you should have to visit Kenya from Nigeria, then keep watching this video. Okay, the first thing is visa. In this case, visa is required for you to visit Kenya. It's not visa free, it's not visa on arrival either. For Nigerian passport holders, you would need to apply for a visa and get it before you get to Kenya. In my case, I applied for an East African visa, but I applied through Kenya. An East African visa is one of two options. You can apply directly to Kenya to get a Kenyan visa or get an East African visa as well through Kenya. So your first point of entry into the East African region is Kenya. Now, East African visa covers 3 countries: Rwanda, Uganda, and Kenya. It doesn't cover Ethiopia, it doesn't cover Zimbabwe, or any other East African countries you might want to visit. So it's just for the 3 of them. If you're going to be going within 3 countries, you could go from Rwanda to Uganda, from Uganda back to Rwanda, then to Kenya, then to Rwanda, then to Uganda. Yeah, so that visa is valid for you to go multiple entry within the East African zone, right? When you step out of the East African zone, if you're stamped anywhere else, then you need to get another visa to come back. Now, this visa will cost you anywhere between $100 to $150. In my case, I got an East African visa. So depending on what you want to do, whether you want to get a Kenyan visa or an East African visa, I'll leave the link to the application website in the description that you can check out, or the link you should use if you want to apply for a visa, or you could use an agent, or you could come to me and I'll help you apply for the visa. The next thing is flights. So with flights, you can book a direct flight. The only direct flight from Lagos to Nairobi, Abuja to Nairobi, or Abuja to Kenya is on Kenya Airways. So you can do Kenya Airways, but then it's a little more expensive. You can decide that you want to book any other airline, but just know that you have to deal with layovers. If you're going to Mombasa, you're not going to Nairobi, you stop over at Nairobi if you are using Kenya Airways. So with Kenya Airways, on the average, flights could go anywhere between $700 to $1,000, depending on how far your travel date is. So if it's far in the future and you're flexible, you can find way cheaper rates on Kenya Airways. I remember going to Mauritius and I used Kenya Airways. It was not as expensive, but now, because I booked my flights the day before, oh my God, please don't judge me. I booked my flight the day before. Don't try this at home. I had to pay almost through my nose. And this was actually different because I wasn't sure when I was going to come back. I booked my flight to Entebbe. Entebbe is in Uganda, right? And the only reason I actually was able to get that flight deal was because I had an East African visa. So they would actually allow me to board. If I didn't have an East African visa, I would have had to book straight to Nairobi or Mombasa or anywhere in Kenya. I booked the flight to Entebbe and I stopped at Nairobi. So this layover is in Nairobi. I stopped over in Nairobi and I didn't continue the Entebbe. So it was a round trip. So yeah, I forfeited that. But anyway, they would check that it's a round trip when you're boarding. So you actually have to have a round trip. So that's what I did. But now I tried to move the second leg of my flight, and then it was going to cost me like $700 and something. And I'm like, no, that's not happening. I'm just going to go with Rwanda Air or Ethiopian Airlines or something and just take one leg of the flight back home. And that was because I didn't want to spend too much when I was just coming to Kenya. Just for context, for that one leg, or for the return flight for Uganda, I paid $500 back and forth, right, for the entire trip. Meanwhile, a return flight to Nairobi was about $1,300. So it didn't make any sense to me. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Right now, even though I'm still going to be paying about $400 or $300 to get me back to Lagos, I would have still flown direct flights to Nairobi and back without having to spend $1,200. Don't try this at home, it's very silly. For accommodation, so accommodation in Nairobi can actually be anywhere between 5,500 Kenyan shillings, or we say $50 a night. So you could get an Airbnb, a reasonably priced Airbnb, for about $50 a night. You could go all the way up, as you know, like if you want to get a hotel, a 5-star hotel, you might be spending a lot more. You can budget like $100 or less or whatever, but upward of $50 I think is a safe bet, knowing that you'll be at an Airbnb and you would also have to make food and all of those things. So yeah, the next thing is your yellow fever card. Now, this is what a yellow fever card looks like. A lot of times in Nigeria, if you want to get a yellow fever card, there's always some guy, you know what I'm about to say, there's always some guy at the entrance to report health or something. I'll tell you, don't worry, if you run out. You can run, but you cannot hide. They will catch you at the, and they will collect every dime that they can collect from you if your yellow fever card is fake. So what you can do, first of all, take the vaccine. That's one way to ensure that you're not getting a fake yellow fever card. Go to a port health, take the vaccine, and actually get the card. Now, a fake yellow fever card is darker yellow, it's like mustard, but an original one is not as dark. So because I can't really compare the two of them right now, I don't have the two of them, what you can do is to use your phone, scan the QR code on the front of it, right? And then fill in the details when the form pops up. If it shows you like the vaccine that you've taken it, or it shows your details, or shows you anything on the screen, okay, that's fine. But if it gives you a warning sign and says this some is not available or is not visible or something, just know that your yellow fever card is fake, because they will scan it. Yeah, especially if you're Nigerian. Oh Lord God, they will so scan it. They will scan you, scan it, and then collect money from you before you go. Those are the major things that you need to come to Kenya as a Nigerian. So you need to have your visa, which you should have applied for way before coming into Nigeria. For context, I applied for mine on the 17th of August. I got it on the 26th, so it took 9 days, and I applied for the East African visa. If you're applying for only Kenya, it might take shorter, but at least give yourself like 2 weeks. Apply for it before your travel date, okay? Next thing is flights, rather. So you can fly direct on Kenya Airways. Otherwise, if you want to like fly, it's too expensive. You can fly on Rwanda Air, you can fly on Ethiopian Air. I think those are two options. You can fly on South African Airways, but I don't really get the point, like going all the way to South Africa and then coming all the way back. So yeah, you can do Kenya Airways for direct, Rwanda Air or Ethiopian for you layover in Addis Ababa or you layover in Kigali, right? And hotels, Airbnbs can start at $50 for, like, I would do an apartment tour and I will post it very soon. Yes, I've already filmed it, so don't worry. It's not one of those videos that I will say I will post and then I don't end up posting, but I promise I've already filmed it, so I will post it. So this is my apartment. You can probably see it like in the background. It's a 2-bedroom apartment using just one room. So yeah, it's a big one, and I'll explain all the details and give all the tea in that video. So if you're not already subscribed to this channel, you know what to do. Apart from accommodations, you also need travel insurance. They don't ask for it. I don't travel without travel insurance, so get travel insurance, okay? You can get from Safety Wing if you want to have like something more long term. If you're traveling for a while, it's like a subscription, so you can just, it's actually nice to have in case anything happens, because emergencies don't announce themselves anyway. So yeah, it's not a necessity. They don't ask you for it at the border or at immigration or anything, but just have it. I will leave the details of vaccine and not fully vaccinated and all those things in the description. So they didn't ask me for it as at the time I was leaving Nigeria. They didn't ask me for it at the airport. They didn't ask me for it when I got to Nigeria. Although me, I just to Kenya, rather, I just give them everything, like my yellow fever, vaccine card, everything. I'm fully vaccinated. I have taken 3 shots of Moderna. So if you have like a 1-shot vaccine, Johnson & Johnson and Co, yeah, you can, I think that one, and then the booster shot works. So I don't really know anything about the vaccine bit of it and the vaccination policy right now, but I will leave it in the description. So check the description. I would have checked and then I would have updated it in the description. So yeah, that's it for this video. If you would like to come to Kenya, I would say an estimate that you should have in mind if you're staying for a week thereabout is about $2,000, and this includes like your visa, flights, accommodation, food, and a few activities. If you're like me and you like to explore and just explore on your own, you don't want group tours or any of those things, then if you want like a mix of both, you want to explore on your own, and then you also want like group tours and everything. But anyway, if you want to plan your trip to Kenya, or you want to visit Kenya anytime very soon, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or anywhere else, maybe Twitter. You can reach out to me on Instagram or Twitter, and I would help you plan your trip at a fee. It's not free, obviously, it's absolutely worth it. But you would have like everything you need in one package. Would have consultations, curate the trip for you, exactly what you want, exactly how you want it, exactly like based on your style and lots of other things. We would have consultations. I'll ask you about your preferences, and it's based on that we would book the trip. We work on it together, the best places to stay, the best things to do, based on your personality, based on all of that. You know how intentional I get on my trips if you follow me on my Instagram story. So if you want that experience, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be very happy to help. On that note, I would call it a day, or I'll call it a video in this case. So yeah, if there's anything else you want to ask me or you want to know about going to Kenya or visiting Kenya with a Nigerian passport, I think this also applies to non-Nigerians really. Just check the website, Kenyan immigration website. Yeah, so just check that and be sure that what you need per time has been updated, just to be sure, okay? Because I don't know when you'll be watching the video. So that's enough talking from me. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.